really wanted a dog for a family. So because of these oils, my daughter was able to heal her, let me just cut this. We were able to hear her allergies and her response to dogs. And so we were able to get a dog. So, I mean, I'm just like, we're over the moon happy to have our dog. And we've had him for about 2 years. When he was 4 months old, we took him to get his puppy shot. And I really did do the research and was kind of like, okay, we're not going to get those ones, but we're going to get these ones. 2 days after he got his puppy shots, he got deathly ill. Like short story is he was in the vet hospital for 7 days straight. And they were basically telling us, you need to come say goodbye to your dog. And so we'd just gotten a dog back into our life. We'd had him for 2 months and he nearly died after getting his shots. And, they did a surgery, like they could not find what was wrong with him. Short story is brought him, eventually was able to finally find a vet that was able to make recommendations, got him out of the hospital, brought him home, and we started a very long year of healing for him. I'm happy to say he's extremely healthy, very active dog, has no issues now. But what I learned in that process is I'd kind of always trusted vets. And it's not that I don't trust vets. It's what I've learned is that I can do things at home that are really helpful for my super sensitive dog, and they don't make him sick. And when we actually have taken him to the vet one other time and he got on medication, he got deathly sick again. So we just happen to have a sensitive guy. So we've tried all kinds of crazy things and we're finding they work wonders and they don't make him sick. So that is a big part of why I'm here. And that's my passion, was sharing about our animal, not just ourselves and our family and our kids, but our pets too can benefit from these amazing tools. So that's a little background on me and why I'm here tonight. And go ahead, Mom.
Okay, so briefly, I grew up in a time where there weren't a lot of vets around. They were expensive. We were an immigrant family. We always had pets, and we treated them with our old-fashioned home brew remedies. I, as a teenager, was fixing my cat's abscesses and cleaning them out and healing them with poultices and herbs. So it was just like a way of life for me. And then about 20 years or so ago, I started using oils for like emotional and spiritual support. And it never really occurred to me until my granddaughter's eczema went away that you could use oils for physical healing. So I immediately started using them for myself and for my cats, and have a very adventurous feral rescue kitty who will not stay in unless he wants to be in. So I've had lots of opportunities to try out lots of different oils for cuts and scratches, and he's gotten himself caught on fences and all kinds of other things that I've gotten to use the oils to help him heal. And he only does it on long weekends on a Saturday or a Sunday morning. So that's what I'm like bringing here. The information that we have about horses is Pam and I have a mutual friend who's been using Young Living oils with her horses for over 25 years, like since Gary brought them out into the world. And she was a hoof care practitioner. She grew up with horses. And she has shared with me all of as many as she could think of the things that she has done with the oils and used the oils for with horses over all those years to keep her horses healthy and happy. So that's where the horse information is coming from.
Yes. Thank you for that. Yeah. Really quick, you can either unmute yourself and say it, or you feel free in the chat. But we wanted to know what animals people have so that we put our focus there tonight. And also if there were any like burning questions or like specifics you came here to this class wanting to learn about, so we can really address those. I'd love to hear.
Yeah. Is that Marcia? You want to unmute yourself?
I have a cat. I'm unmuted, I think. Yes, I have a cat, Claire, who is about 7.5, 8 years old. And my problem with her is she constantly wants to be fed. it's gotten to the point where she sits on my chair when I'm having my dinner and her nose is in my food. She's getting on the counters and trying to find leftover food. I had some homeopathic tablets on the counter. She can eat those when I turn my back. I just can't keep up with her, and she's just constantly begging for food. And the vet has her on a diet because she's overweight. She's lost 2 pounds, but she's still, he considers her still overweight, and I don't know what to do. I'm beside myself.
Mm. Okay, great. Thanks, Marcia. I don't know what PICA is. I see a note in the chat, 2 cats, but one with PICA. Do you know what that is, Mom?
I do.
It's pica, which is craving for non-food items. So one of my kitties eats things like the most recent thing a week and a half ago, he ate half of a bra strap. So
Okay.
he's only 3 and it's been an exciting first couple of years. And I'd like them to be less exciting moving forward.
And cool, Sarah Wolf, I see you have your hand raised. I love that feature.
Let's see. Oh, I did unmute myself. There we go. Yeah, so I do love that feature also. I have 2 questions. One is my dog has some tummy issues, which is stinking out the house. And I think we think it's what we call officially garbage gut. I think she's drinking gross water outside, even though she's got beautiful, clean, fresh filtered water. She'd rather go drink the water from the septic system, like that sprays, that's full of chlorine and nastiness. And whatever gross ponds are nearby. There's like mucky, stagnant water.
Yeah.
Dogs.
It's so gross that way.
I know, they're so nasty. I love them too, more than anything. But they are just disgusting. And I think she has a sensitive tummy in the first place, so it just is exacerbating the issue. Then the other thing, Marianne, when you mentioned that the horse person you know is a hoof person, I remembered that one of the horses that we're leasing has thrush in her hoof. So it's basically a yeast infection in the hoof because it's been raining and raining and raining here. So she's got a bacteria in her hoof or a yeast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sweet. Okay, I see in the chat, I have 2 cats interested in alternatives for flea and tick repellent. Great, we'll cover that. General info to counter the vet's messages that essential oils are dangerous for cats. Yes, that's why I like Marianne being here, because she can just speak to it from personal research and study. And then rabbit that has seemingly constant gurgling tummy. Okay, great, Elizabeth, I see that too, and we'll definitely touch on some stomach themes, it seems like, as well as.
To clarify, I want more information for myself and also to be able to convince my husband why it's okay. So I'm a believer, but I don't yet have the info to spread the information to people who don't believe. So,
and I really get it. I will lean on Marianne a lot, because I feel like there's a lot of fear out there about essential oils and cats in particular. And there is really good information I'm learning that like takes the fear out of it and puts the knowledge in place. And so these are great asks. Cool. All right. Well, without further ado.
Wait, I had my hand raised.
oh,
Sorry. You can't see me very well. I just had to go for a walk, but I'm almost home. But I have 2 kitties, and one of them was just like general like cuts and scrapes. Not that they get a lot, but I just would love to have that info. And then, even though they're just a year, the vet thinks that one of my kitties might have arthritis in her spine. And she was like, here's this pamphlet about this shot that you can start giving your cat. And I'm like, yeah, no. I'm not giving her a shot that she has to take life. Like, no. Especially when it's a baby. So anything about arthritis, and it's like low spine. So anything kind of spine arthritis would be awesome.
Okay.
Great.
Thanks.
Love it. Oh, I love the specifics. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
And we can direct the class to the specific needs. Okay, I guess we can start the slideshow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Somewhere I have our notes here, so I try to stay on track. I love when I lose my notes though for staying on track. That's always fun. Okay. And I know you can do full screen because I think that'll help as we get into which I know you're figuring out.
I'm working on that.
Yeah, you're a rock star. You got this.
This is actually full screen, they say. I don't believe that.
CP eyes for dogs. Elizabeth, I can definitely touch on that because my dog had that and I found a great option there. I always love technology. Is so lovely until we can't figure it out. All right.
Okay, it's telling me it's in full screen, but
That's not as big as it was the last time. That's the only
I know that's what I'm not getting. Wait a minute. Maybe if I do this.
yeah, try that.
Okay, that's better. That's
If
bigger.
okay. Yes, that's pretty good. If people can't read it, definitely let us know. So we're gonna, there we go. We're gonna start. So Marianne tonight and I are talking specifically about Young Living because those are the products that we use and we know the most about. And Marianne will touch more on this tonight. I am talking about what Seed to Seal is, which is Young Living's basically guarantee of quality and purity. And so what it means is that all the way from, it's even a step before the seed for Young Living. Like this is their standard of their essential oils. And that's partly why we're really comfortable talking about using them on our skin, in our body, in our animals' bodies, on our animal skin, is because this is their standard. Before they put a seed into the soil, that soil must be free of chemicals, pesticides, synthetic use of any kind for 50 years. That is partly why Young Living does not have organic on their labels, because organic standards are 5 years. Young Living's are 50 years. So that's why they have a Seed to Seal guarantee, because it's essentially beyond organic. And so that's a really great thing to know about what they're doing. So before the seed goes into the soil, their seeds are like hand-picked. I've actually been to the farm and watched this how they collect the seeds. It's an amazingly beautiful process. It's by hand that they collect and gather their seeds. And they put those in the like super clean and well-loved soil. They hand weed. They sometimes get sheep out there to do the weeding for them. They do cover crops to keep the soil really healthy. They are all about recycling the water on their farms, regenerative, sustainable farming, like truly at its best. They are super committed to that. And so the reason that's so important is because that is the quality standard that's going into the plant that then creates this oil, that when you compare it to just a random oil you get off Amazon or like even at Walmart or say the health food store, do you really know the background of that oil? And this slideshow is a perfect example. Here's, you can go there if you want, Mom. That's fine. Anyways, part of it too is they will not distill the plants to make the oil until they've actually done pre-testing to make sure that the therapeutic constituents are at peak time and harvest to actually get the most out of that oil and that plant so that you get the therapeutic properties. They may smell the same, 2 different bottles, but that doesn't mean they have the same therapeutic qualities. And so they distill all their oils on site. Every single farm across the world distills on site, which makes that plant that much more fresh and guarantees you're getting all those constituents that create the results. They create the impact, the effectiveness of the oils. And then they also batch test their oils to make sure they're the standard and the quality, and they have third-party testing come in. And so that's just a quick background on Young Living standards. And that's why we like to use them and talk about them specifically for animals. And then Mom, I know you had something, I think, about vets and.
Right. So the just looking at this slide, there's the Young Living Blue Tansy on the right and another brand on the left. And you can see where, and this is one of the ways you can test oils, when there's a circle around the blotch of the oil, that's where you can see there's carrier oils, it's been adulterated, it's got filler oils, It's not the oil that it says it is. And technically, legally, it only has to have 5% of the true essential oil in it to be legally called pure essential oil. So you can see that it is nowhere near as deep in any part of that drop as the Young Living, which is truly 100% pure blue tansy oil. It's actually even, you can see it stained the cap. Just being there in the bottle. That's not a color, that's the stain from the blue tansy. And this is, part of the purity of the seed to seal is that they don't do second and third distillations, which like a lot of oil companies do. It's like making 3 and 4 pots of coffee out of one set of grounds. And to extend it, because there are, in France several years ago, they exported like 1,000 tons of lavender oil, but they had only grown enough lavender plants to produce 500 tons of lavender oil. So somebody was buying lavender oil from France, and it was not all lavender oil. And that's the kind of thing there on the left that happens, is like you're not actually getting the pure oil. And that's one of the reasons why vets are so specific. Like all the vets that I reference and do research with, they will only use Young Living oils, and they use them in their clinics. They run them in diffusers in all the rooms in their clinics. They run them in diffusers in all their homes. They treat their own cats and their patients with the oils, but only if they're Young Living. And they come back to again and again and again. It's because it's pure. And that's one of the reasons why Young Living oils are safe for cats. And why I feel so comfortable using them with my little guy. And I just love this. And we know our farmers. And this is just a brief little, we're going to mention this all the time in each of the different sort of chapters, like the cats, the dogs, the horses. You let them choose and you make sure they have a way out. And that's true for all animals. It's true for your bunnies. It's true for birds. It's true for all animals. You let them choose, and then you make sure they can get away from it.
Yes, and by provide a way out. I think a simple way to say is like, one thing, especially with cats, I know, is you don't put them in your bedroom, put the diffuser on and close the bedroom door. You provide a way out. You just open the door.
Yeah.
It's as simple as provide a way out means.
Yeah.
And here's
with
a great
cats,
question. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
With cats, one other thing is that you only use water-based diffusers. Like there are ionic diffusers. And I keep thinking I would love to have one, because you just put the oil in them and they disperse the oil in teeny, teeny, tiny droplets out into the air. But that's too much of a concentration for a household with cats. So you can diffuse with cats, but only if you're using the oils and water to diffuse them. And when you do diffuse for cats, you use only 1 or 2 drops. I have a comment like, cats are very economical essential oil users. And if you have favorite recipes, and a lot of them will call for 10 drops of an oil, use 2 or 3, so that you're keeping the concentrations down for the cats. And again, if they can just like leave the room or leave the house, if they don't like it, it's fine.
Yeah,
But
and I know
don't use
during the cat talk, you'll go into deeper, I think, like Kaylin, what you were asking about, and probably some other people.
Yeah.
For sure. There's a good question in here. Is there a good use for poor quality oils? I have been gifted some from questionable places like Better Homes and Gardens, etc. I can relate. At a time, there was a time where I thought, oh, I'll put them on some dryer balls, but I have a child who used to have eczema and has very sensitive skin. So I'm like, okay, no, I can't do that. I don't know. I really don't, because I didn't want to waste mine and just toss them in the garbage, but I'm not sure. If anyone else has suggestions, chime in, please, for what to do.
One thing I tried with some other oils that, again, like I was gifted, was I tried using them in the garden to keep pests away. but they didn't work. So I used my Young Living oils to keep the pests away.
Yeah.
So that was like the only thing I thought of, like, I'm putting it on rocks. No, nobody's wearing it. Nobody's sitting on it. It should work to keep the bugs away. It didn't.
Mm. All right. Well, I guess without further, I think our plan for this class is to talk kind of first horses, then dogs, then cats. We can get real much more specific, like we can talk about the horses and the thrush on the hooves. And same as we go through each, but we'll try to, chat about each. Any questions that come up during, feel free to raise your hand or do the little chat box so that we can address the real specifics. Does that sound good, Mom?
Yes, and while I'm doing the slideshow, I can't access the chat. So I can do when I turn it off. And the other thing we wanted to say is we have PDFs of all the information that's on the slides. So you can like relax and just listen and look and not try to be taking notes, because the only thing that it's really not going to be in this presentation is maybe some testimonials or stories that we have about our animals, but all the information, all the facts, what oils to use for what, are in the PDFs. And you can just ask us which ones you want and we will get them off to you. So you don't have to try and split your focus between taking notes and watching or listening.
Sweet.
Hey. So horses and oils. And just going to go through these really briefly because this is not, I can't speak from my own experience about any of these. But I was going to start with this. Sarah Wolf passed this information on to us that Pat Pirelli, he's a world-renowned creator of the Natural Horsemanship Program, uses essential oils with his horses, and he recommends only using Young Living oils because of their purity.
And this is a perfect picture of letting them choose. How he has that's a horse who wants that oil, like that kind of lean in, that depth into the bottle, like that's what you're looking for.
So this is from my friend. And again, what she says is hold the bottle near the nose, let them smell it. They'll often use their lip and wiggle it around or just continue smelling it. If they don't like it, they move their head away or push against it to push away. And what she would do is put that oil on her forearms while she was working on them, while she was working on their hooves. And there's a note here about, except for Arabians, that they're so extremely sensitive. She starts the oil like arm's length away and gradually lets them see if they like it. The favorite calming oils that she found for horses were lavender, ylang ylang, and peace and calming. And these are lavender and peace and calming sort of come up for almost all the animals. So what she recommends for foot care is to use thieves spray to prevent infections. And after she picks the hook, she sprays it on one side of the groove and then on the other, and then down the central sulcus, that little groove in there. She does it twice a week to prevent infections. Like you were saying, especially in the winter when their feet are always wet. She did not use tea tree because it irritated her horse's feet, though lots of people recommend that. This is her recipe for colic. It's going to be in the PDF. And then here we have stuff from, there's an animal reference book, which is written by vets, and each section on each animal is written by a vet who specializes in that animal. And I love this first note: to keep helichrysum and copaiba on hand for yourself when your horse steps on you. Not if, but when. And it's true for, I think, all animals. Use these household cleaner so that you're using a non-toxic cleaner in the barn, which supports your health and your horse's health. They recommend using myrrh instead of iodine on umbilical cords. Recommendations for bruises and for the jitters. For back and spine conditions, they have similar but a little bit different recommendations for colic. recommendations for flies and wound care. Dogs and oils. And let me see if I can you, I'm going to get out of screen sharing for a minute and then we can play that video. I can get
Sure.
one.
And real quick, I just want to, is there any just questions or like curiosity about specifics with the horses or any? Okay. How much thieves for hooves? There's a great, thanks. Sarah did ask that.
Okay. She did not say how much. And I am guessing that she did.
Bailey's gonna help show how
Whoops.
an animal tells you
Oh.
if they like an oil or
Hang
not.
on. I think that's from yours, Mom.
Yes, I think it is.
Okay.
So the standard 1 to 2 capfuls in like 30 ounces
16
to a
ounces.
quart of 16 ounces of water. The thing with horses is that you can use easily the dilutions that you would use for people. So that's what you use for people. That's what I use around the house. That's what I use my granddaughters use around the house. And when you think about the fact that you're using that around little kids who weigh 40 or 50 pounds, it is safe to use it around a horse that weighs 1,000 pounds or more. So the standard dilution for thieves, which is 1 to 2 capfuls in that 16-ounce bottle. And then that's what they use to clean the stalls and all the fittings. And
No,
Okay.
for the hooves, for the spray, the thief spray for the hooves.
the thief spray is it's a separate product.
Oh, okay.
That's like people use it to like take it with them to spray like on shopping carts instead of Purell, that kind of stuff. I like to use it like to spray in my mouth if I'm getting a sore throat. So it's like a separate product, and I don't think you can get it in bulk. What I can do is find out what kind of concentration she used to create that. So I'm going to make myself a note.
I mean, it's really just the thieves' household cleaner, just
Yes.
strong.
Right. So it's super strong. It's not as diluted as it is for the general household cleaning. So let me get back to you on that one, on how much she would use for that. And then I can send you a message, Sarah, and let you know.
Cool.
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about cleaning the barn.
Okay. I will get right started with dogs. We're gonna share video. Hang on just one sec while can everyone see that? Okay, I'm seeing some thumbs up. So this is a video I had my daughter take of me and my dog while I was having him choose an oil. And it's a visual example. I talk through it. It's short, it's like 30 seconds, but it applies to cats, horses, dogs, rabbits, goats, whoever. Here we go.
Bailey's gonna help show how an animal tells you if they like an oil or not. Let's see, I don't put it too close to his nose. So he turns, he's kind of like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna try a different one. See what he does this time. Oh yeah, this has always been a favorite of his since he was a puppy. So see, he's checking it out. And I'm always very careful not to get it on their nose. Their nose is so sensitive. Yeah, see how he turns his head? Just subtle but blatant, but this was the one.
Okay. I'll stop the share, come back. Okay, so that was just a good simple example. That's what most animals will do. They'll lean in, or they'll turn their head, or they'll literally back up. In my opinion, they make it pretty clear like what they like and what they don't like. So that does make it easier. Do you want to go back to the slides, Bob? Can you get us back?
I can.
Okay, sweet.
Pam, I just wanted to throw out too, like, I just loved how he started licking, which may not be a sign, but it just kind of seemed like when he was like with the other ones, he wasn't, but he was like, that I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that might be a indicator.
Mhm. What's really funny is he's even barked, and I think like, sometimes I put one out, he just barks at the bottle, which at least for my dog, I have figured out means that's not the one, and then we find the one. He kind of just eases into it. So, all right, we're waiting for the screen share, which should only take just a
Okay.
moment.
Have you got me back on? Did I have to get off?
I might have to get out. Oops. This is where I'm like, sorry, everybody, forgive me for your viewing Marianne's screen. Is that allowing anything yet? Oh my goodness, isn't this fun, everyone?
It's telling me my screen sharing is paused and I'm clicking on resume share and it's not happening.
Okay, that's all right. We got a backup plan here because I can
Yep.
always, should I just go to my screen share?
Yeah, go to yours.
Okay,
That would be good.
hang on just a second, everybody. First, I have to actually say screen share. And let me find, okay. Oh, that's funny. It says I'm paused, so I'm gonna stop. Try again, Mom. We'll get this. I swear.
Okay.
I will just start talking while you're in the background. Does that work?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I think the very first thing I had, and if this doesn't work for you, I will try one more time, is didn't sound like anybody had dogs who deal with itching. I know that can be a really big thing just in general. So, just based on a lot of research I've done, and a lot of you dog owners probably have done the same. Itching, it's just like humans. So my daughter, the eczema piece, it was all about gut. It's all about that internal flora, the gut health. Our skin is just the way it exits the body when there's inflammation, when there's something in there that we don't like, it comes out the skin. So itching, if you deal with that, you're going to want to look at like your animal's diet, especially your dog's diet. And also getting, you're going to hear me say this a couple times. So a couple of you who mentioned dogs, high quality probiotics for your dogs. It's just like us humans. Their diets and their guts have changed. Breeding has affected a lot of guts, a lot of dogs, natural balance in their gut. They eat junk, Sarah, it's like they eat junk. They're dogs. Like it's what they do, but they're, now in our human world. And yes, itching on feet. Okay. Somebody does have that. So big things you're looking at, and it looks like we still don't have our screen share. I'm going to try one more time, Mom. Does that work?
Yeah. What did you do?
I think because it says we're viewing yours, can you exit out of screen share and I'll try to get in?
Okay, I am trying. Let's see. I can't.
I think yours is on whatever, taking over the ability to.
It's usually at the top of your screen, Marianne, that you can
Yeah.
hit stop screen share.
It's at the bottom here.
Mm.
There, finally, I've been clicking it and clicking it. Okay. All
And
right.
you're out.
Okay, shall I try it again?
How about, let me see if I
You-
can get in there. Yeah, let me try. Let's see what happens. Wow. Okay. I don't know what's going on, y'all. It won't let me either. It's okay. And I've shared screen a lot. So I'll keep talking and I'll let you.
And I'll try one more time.
Okay. So anyways, itching, look at high quality probiotics. You're going to want to look at like your dog's diet, and dogs, for those of you who've been staying up on like the new information, there's a lot out there that some dogs really can't handle the grains. And there's some dogs out there that really need the grains for them to come back to balance. So if you've got itching, rashes, anything like that, yeah, look at diet and maybe playing around a little bit. And some dogs, I'm finding my dog does really well. I first had him on a grain-free diet. Now I have him on a mixed, like high protein animal with a little bit of grain in there. And I'm even throwing like human vegetables, pumpkin seeds. Dogs do really well with vegetable in their diet, fresh foods in their diet. I'm not going to do the raw thing. I got 3 kids. I got a family of 5 to feed. The dog's going to get some like chopped up vegetables while I make salad, and goes right on top of his food. But to come back, so good quality probiotics for dogs and cats. I don't have my bottle here. I can definitely share that with anyone who's interested when I get back inside my house. and like send a shot of the probiotics we use that were actually recommended by the new vet we found that does actually Chinese medicine too. And she really helped our dog basically recover from near death, essentially. So they were probiotics that she recommended. So I'm happy to share those.
Is the probiotic just for dogs or is it for cats too?
It might actually be for cats too. I'll definitely look on the bottle when I check it out. So I'd be happy to share that. Another amazing product. So high quality probiotics, kind of working with sensing out your dog's food needs. And also, there's a product, Sulfurzyme. It's something Young Living makes, and actually humans take it, and it helps hair, skin, nails. But it helps why it helps those is because it literally helps the cells or our cells detox. Like it has the ability to get into the cell membranes and help flush out what we don't need, and it helps support the liver. And anytime you're having skin stuff, this is another thing I learned the hard way with a child who had years and years of eczema. Your skin is directly linked to your gut health, but it also means your liver is often backed up. So if we can support our animals' liver health and also support their skin health, and Sulfurzyme is a powder, it's a capsule. You literally just take a pill and you drop it all over their food. They can take 1 to 2 pills a day to start. Big dogs, you can move up to 2 to 4, 2 to 6 pills a day. But there's been amazing, amazing results in skin health and itching with those probiotics and the Sulfurzyme powder. And I will also say, for those of you with older animals and joint issues, Sulfurzyme is going to come up again as like the wonder supplement. What was somebody saying? Oh,
That was me. I've got the screen.
go for it.
I've got the slideshow up, but can you all see it? I don't know if I'm actually sharing.
We can't see it.
Right.
Technical difficulties. So that's what I can share about itching and skin, also skin. And then relief for itch spots. Because the reality is, like, if you're looking at the internal and trying to help, you can also help the external. Lavender oil is really gentle, and most dogs can handle that direct. And then I don't know if you can see this, but this is an actual made just for animals. It's called Animal Sense Ointment, and it's a salve. It's big, there it is. We use it, us humans in my family, all the time. Somebody gets a cut, they have dry skin in the winter, they have cracked feet, and this stuff is great for dogs. And it's also, if they lick, like if you put it on your dog's feet where the itching is, if they lick a little, it's fine. It's just super natural ingredients in here, so it's not going to hurt them any. My dog got I've done multiple wound care. I've saved myself hundreds of dollars on the weekends as well. When my dog has gotten injuries, and I just pack it full of Animal Sense, and you don't have to worry about them licking it either. But it's really good for dry patches and can help heal the external. And also, yay, you did it! Way to never give up, Mom. Woo! Ah! Very nice. So I'm in the itchy thing.
Okay.
Anyways, lavender can be really good for skin itching in dogs. Animal Sense, I can't say enough about this. I love having it in our house because every human in our house uses it, and it's great for our dog too. And it's a great like emergency thing to have in your house because dogs, Sarah, I love how you talked about dogs. They do stupid shit. I'm sorry, but they do stupid shit, and they get cut and they hit barbed wire and they just do all these things. And so it's nice to have something you can help them at home with. Okay. Pain management. I'm on pain management. If you can find that one, Mom.
I can't get the slide to move,
Oh.
so bear with me.
Okay.
This is a comedy of errors.
It is. So this information will be on the slides. Nobody specifically asked for pain management, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. But basically, I'm going to shout out to that Sulfurzyme powder I talked about before because it helps the joints release inflammation and detox. So it helps inflammation at like the core cellular level. So Sulfurzyme is great at pain management. And CBD oil. Young Living makes THC free, super clean, beyond organic hemp oil, and they combine it with essential oils that help basically, what's that word? It's like they amp up the hemp oil, and the hemp oil amps up the essential oils they put in certain CBD recipes, and they help either with digestion, they help with inflammation, they can help with anxiety. And so CBD is actually an incredible pain relief option for dogs, and they do well with it. And yes, I have my older dog stuff in there. And I don't know if anyone else, I can only see part of that may just be me. For some reason, I can only see part of the
I can
screen.
see the whole slide.
Okay, good. That may just be because I'm presenting. I'm chatting away. And then, oh, amazing pain relief. So I will say this because it's a testimony. My dog has like been all the testimonies because he's put us through the ringer in the 2 years we've had him. But we got him off after he got neutered, and we waited a long time because I was worried about him going under. I was worried about him getting the drugs he needed to get the surgery because he was so sensitive to all the medication he'd been on when he almost died. And the medication almost sent him over the edge as he was trying to recover from this massively enlarged gallbladder, which was what happened to him. So what I did was try the human morphine bomb that Gary Young came up with on my dog to get him off the pain meds when he got done with his surgery, and it worked amazing. He wasn't in pain, he was happy, and he stopped immediately once I got him. He only took one pain pill at home, and they usually give it to you for like a week, 7 to 10 days, I want to say. And maybe it's less. He might have been on antibiotics they wanted him on, and I didn't do that either. But I gave him a morphine pill, and he took one pain reliever, got him on the Young Living essential oil morphine pill with turkey, and his pain was gone and he was fine, and the diarrhea stopped. That was the piece I really wanted to remember. Whenever he takes regular vet meds, he gets massive diarrhea. We're talking like waking up at 12, 2, 4 in the morning. Like it's like back to having babies again. So he sleeps through the night on the natural stuff. He stops having diarrhea. So anyways, the morphine pill is simply 2 drops each of grand fir, which is a tree oil, frankincense, and copaiba. You put 2 drops each in a capsule, wrap some turkey around it, and it's another nice thing about dogs is their guts can also, in some ways, they do well with oils. You can try a lot more, I think, with them. Okay, so that's the pain and the old age and the inflammation.
Can you say the morphine bomb again?
Yes.
Granfir, Copaiba, and what else?
Frankincense, and it works wonders on humans. Like it's a true pain relief natural remedy. So without like the side effects, without the liver getting clogged up from, what synthetic medicines do. Now they're made to help us. There's nothing wrong with synthetically made medicines. It's just for some of us sensitive people, they're harder for us to process than the benefits we get from them. My dog happens to be that way. Wound care, I can't say enough about, like I'll say above all, trust yourself and your gut and wound care. If you're not comfortable, take your dog to the vet. Like everybody will do what's right for them. But my dog got bit by another dog right here, had deep puncture wounds right by his eye. And it was a Saturday afternoon, of course. And I looked at it, my husband and I looked at it, and he was like, we got to take him to the vet. And I'm like, you're right. And then I said, give me 24 hours. Give me 24 hours. I'll save us at least a little, like, let's see if I can do it. And it healed in less than 24 hours by doing this wound care. And it sealed up clean. He never had an issue. And this was like another dog bit him. So it was dirty and it had, dog teeth, and it was right by his eye. So I had to be really careful what I used. So my point being, do what you're comfortable with, but your options for cleaning out wounds, there's so many. Soap and water. I mean, it's so much like humans, right? We don't have to get all the fancy stuff. Soap and water works wonders. You can get your dog in a Epsom salt bath. I mean, I have a water breed dog, so of course he doesn't really care about getting in the bath. Not everyone's dog is that way. But Epsom salts, you can put lavender and purification in that salt water, and that will help. And then you can get a syringe and really, irrigate the wound out well. And then there's 3 oils I always use for wound care. It's lavender, helichrysum, and frankincense. And frankincense and lavender are skin healers. They're also antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. So they get all the anti stuff going. And the helichrysum is literally what I call the wound healer. It helps stop bleeding. I've watched it in front of my eyes with my daughter who got a massive head wound, and I just poured helichrysum on and I watched the wound stop bleeding. And it can help seal wounds. So before we seal wounds, before you'd ever use the helichrysum, you're going to need to do the really good cleaning, syringing, and all of that, flushing out, washing well. So lavender, if you're a dog owner, I highly recommend lavender, frankincense, and helichrysum in your dog toolkit, because they really do wonders at healing quickly. And then you put those oil. I actually put the oil drops right into the wound. I had to be extra careful, like that time when he got bit in the face. But he also got a massive barbed wire gusher one day too, and then I pack it full of this stuff. And that's what I do. I pack it full of animal sense ointment. Wrap some gauze around it if it's an area you can. One time my dog had a spot obviously on his eye. I couldn't do that, so you just do the best you can and you clean it regularly. Another option for dogs that works really well to clean wounds is colloidal silver. So you can get that, put it in a spray bottle and spray it in the wound, around the wound. So that is another option for wound care. And what's next? I know we had some specifics on, I want to make sure, feel free to throw comments in the chat so we can remember. Stress and anxiety, nobody seemed to deal with that, but you'll see these 3 oils come up a lot with animals, and it's stress away, peace and calming, valor, and lavender. They are known to help us humans, and they work the same in our animals. And so those are primary go-tos if any of your animals have trouble sleeping, if they have trouble when you're leaving, like separation anxiety. It makes me wonder, Jessica, a little bit about your cats, and I wonder what Mary Ann will say, but I do wonder what some of those oils might do for that pica. So, and 2 things I'll say is with the stress and the anxiety, you want your dog to pick the scent they like, but if you can, have them pick the scent they like in a happy moment. You just loved them all up. You just played outside. They're like having a great time. Have them smell the oils in that moment when they're in their like happy dog place, their tails wagging. Because then the way the scent and the olfactory works the same in dogs as it does in humans, it will bring back a scent memory of being happy. So if you do it in a moment when they're happy and they're like in a good place, then say you're going into the stressful situation, either they're getting dropped off at the vets or you're leaving for half the day or whatever, that you're going to a public place, pull out that oil and let them smell it. With dogs, it's so great. You just take an oil, screw off the cap, put a drop or 2 in your hand, rub your hands together and pet them from their ears all the way down their back and out their tail. You just right on their back and out their tail. It's super easy with dogs. And that goes true whether it's stress, anxiety, whether it's sleep, whether it's, whatever they're dealing with, hyperactive. You just rub your hands together and pet them down their back. All right, I see something in the chat. Oh, and CPIs was another one. Oh, and major anxiety, scared of everything. I'm seeing that for the cat comment. So yes, I'm really drawn intuitively, Jessica, about one of those oils for the cats and the pica for some reason. So, okay. And then can you do the next one, Mom? Fireworks, same thing. Those are going to be your oils. Stress away, peace and calming, lavender, maybe valor. You're going to want to diffuse it. If your dog gets anxious around thunderstorms or fireworks, this is a great option to chill them out. Pet them with their favorite oil, like before the fireworks start. Anything you can do to just help their system, calm down and center. Same as us humans, we have our things that make us anxious. And when we do deep breathing, when we ground, when we pause, like when we breathe an essential oil that helps us calm, it's the same for our dogs. All right. And we can take the next one. Okay, eye wounds, because I've totally dealt Elizabeth with the weepy eyes, and I had amazing results spraying colloidal silver in my dog's eyes. Now I know when somebody first told me spraying silver in eyes, I thought they were crazy, but then my kids got pink eye, and I I didn't feel like driving a half hour to go to some pharmacy that was going to give me some, I don't know what to put in their eyes. And I researched online and asked a few friends. And so I use colloidal silver in my kids when they've gotten pink eye, and it works within 24 hours. Pink eye's been gone. I've actually been able to stop it from spreading other times we've gotten it. And the same was true with my dog. He had weepy eyes, sprayed colloidal silver, and he didn't mind. I'd get the spray bottle out and he'd kind of just lean forward and I was gentle about it, sprayed around his eyes, did that like 4 or 5 times a day. And within 24 hours to 36 hours, all the weepiness has gone away. So that's what I can say about dogs. You never want to put an essential oil around a dog's eyes or their ears. You never want to put them inside their ears. Same is true for humans, but that's something. Anyway, so that's what I can offer. YL doesn't carry colloidal silver. I mean, most health food stores do. I know a company, I think it's called SOS, Survive on Silver. They're out of Montana. Highly recommend them. Super high quality. I love their stuff.
I love their stuff too. Highly recommend
Yeah.
it.
So
I
that's the
think I
colloidal.
learned about it from you, Kim.
Yeah. Okay, and then it's funny, I can't actually see the slide. So I'm like, what is below the
It's,
eye wound?
Cancer.
Oh, and cancer, nobody's probably dealing with that, but just know, should it come down the road, there is proof and studies done extensively, frankincense oil. It has amazing abilities. You can Google it, frankincense and cancer. It's actually pretty phenomenal at its ability to reduce cancer cells. It's kind of amazing, the research out there. And Ningxia Red is a supplement Young Living makes that also there are so many human testimonies for what Ningxia Red can do to help with cancer. And you can actually give your dog Ningxia Red, which is a human supplement. It's a super rich, high antioxidant drink. It's basically like a shot a day kind of a thing, keeps the health going. If you do it for, I think, a dog or a cat, you want to have a little bowl with some Ningxia. You may add a little water to it, but just make sure you have plain water near it. So the animal always has the choice that do they want the Ningxia Red water or do they want the regular water? And I'm realizing, Mom, which slide we missed, which you don't need to go back, but it was the gut. It was somebody asked, I know.
There we are.
Sensitive gut. I know all about that because my dog, oh my God, first year and a half of his life, I swear, was just all gut rebuilding from almost dying, which makes sense. I mean, poor guy, he was dying. There's no doubt about it. And we brought him back. And he needed a lot of help and support when he was done. So high quality probiotics. I can't say enough about that for tummy troubles. And this can be true. I don't know as much about rabbits, so I can't speak to that piece. But I'm almost positive, Kim, too, I know you mentioned this, that they make probiotics for cats as well as for dogs. It's usually a powder or it could be a little tincture. You can sprinkle a little over their food. A really great gut reset for dogs that I know. I see it. Someone's asking cancer and frankincense. I think sacred frankincense is really associated with cancer cells. Feel free, anyone else, to speak up, who knows, but I think either frankincense does absolute wonders.
Yeah, either one is great.
Okay, but the tummy troubles, this is where oils can make a huge difference. Is dogs. Dogs can handle oils probably the best of like any animals. I mean, probably similar to horses because horses are big, large breeds. You can add like stomach support oils such as like Digize. You can add a drop in their food. You can add copaiba, which is another gentle yet really helpful inflammation reducing oil to their food. You can take Digize and roll it on your hand, and you could add a little carrier oil if you want. I've done both. And you can rub it on their belly if they're having a bellyache. And Digize is like the hallelujah oil for stomach issues in humans, and it does really the same in dogs. Peppermint is another one that, like my dog, he loves peppermint when he's having stomach issues. He likes to smell it. He likes when I put it on my hands and I pet him, and he likes when I put it right on his belly. And not everybody would do that, but my dog loves it, so I do it. What was that? Oh. So how about in their water? You could try that. You just want to make sure you have a plain water option. and a water option that has peppermint or digizer. You can also put these oils in a capsule, wrap it around ham, turkey. I mean, dogs, I feel like dogs will normally eat most meat. So it's a really easy way to get these things in them.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have a friend who has little chihuahuas, and it was a weekend. She had just gotten her kit. She had used some Digize herself, and her little dog was having a really bad tummy ache. It's like this dog ate everything and it wouldn't eat. And she held it in her lap and put some Digize straight in her hand and rubbed it on this little tiny dog's, I mean, tinier than my cat, dog's belly. But she said it like turned her around in like 20 minutes, and she was ready to go run around and eat again and eat everything in sight again.
Yeah.
So you really can apply most things non-diluted for dogs.
Makes it easy. The last thing I'll read, it's a testimony because it's someone else's experience, but it really speaks to what we just said. So a friend, a woman we know through Young Living, she says her sweet and naughty 2-year-old doodle puppy got into the bathroom, ate through the trash, like ate the trash, like the things left in the trash can in the bathroom. He stopped eating for a few days and was vomiting up bile. Never a good sign. She switched to a special food for him while at home, but it kept happening where he just was vomiting up bile. He wasn't eating well, and he's normally a super happy dog. So she, when he was seemingly happy, he just was like obviously showing signs of massive gastrointestinal distress. So she paused before she called the vet. Finally, she was ready to call the vet, but she realized she hadn't tried her oils yet. So here's her words. So I grabbed my trusty old bottle of Digize. That's that one I mentioned. That's good for humans. Rubbed several drops down his spine and tummy. And he did not vomit even once since that application. He ate normal again, and she saved herself a $300 vet bill was for her. And that's why it can never hurt to try this stuff, especially with dogs, because you have the potential to save yourself time and energy and money going to the vet. And they usually are, they accept it pretty well. And someone's asking, would one drop of Digize be too much for a rabbit? You know what you could try with a rabbit? We have a book. I can look it up while Marianne talks about cats. And I can
You've got
it in the chat. I'll look it up because we have the animal book right here. I'll look up rabbits.
also, Pam, I think there's a section on pica in the cat section. I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll look there too. Okay.
But you can look it up, and even if it's not in the cat section, the oils kind of are across the board for most of us mammals. Yeah.
Great. All right. Go, Mom, go.
Okay. So I'm going to read a bit on the cats. There's Misty. When one of his favorite oils is in the diffuser, he can't get enough of it, and he'll get right up over and on top of it and just sniff and sniff for a couple of sniffs, and then he just goes to his happy place. There is so much on the internet about cats and oils and all these warnings. I've had vet techs who are mostly all natural people even say to me, don't use cats on oils, or don't use oils on cats. But one of the things that never get meant, there are animals who have died, but they have died from being locked in a room where they couldn't get away from something that was not really a pure essential oil. It was an adulterated oil. It was synthetically produced, and it was not a true essential oil. And that's one of the reasons why vets recommend Young Living oils. They diffuse them in their clinics and their homes. They use them therapeutically with their clinic patients. It's not the oils that are bad. It's the fact that you can have 5% of essential oil in something, call it essential oil legally, and sell it, and people use it and they don't know any better. So there is something that's different about cats from, I think, all the other mammals. There's something in many oils which is called phenol, And this is the stuff I just have to read. So their liver can't really process it. So it builds up if they're exposed to it for a long time. But and it's especially bad if it's a phenol in combination with chemical adulterants and artificial ingredients. So what vets do is they actually treat, like wintergreen is one of the highest, I think it's 90% phenol in wintergreen. Vets will treat cats with wintergreen for short periods of time. And there's one vet that I follow who has done that with her own cats. And because she's a vet, she would do liver enzyme checks on them like every couple of weeks for like a year after she had given them the wintergreen with no problems. And she feels very confident saying, if it's under supervision and you're using pure oils, your cat will be fine. So these are the oils that have high levels of phenol. It goes from wintergreen at 90% to cinnamon bark at 4%. They're mostly hot oils. So they're oils that you're not going to just randomly put on your cat. And I will mention that I've been taking care of my daughter's cat who has had a stroke. And I'd been sleeping near him and I was having a lot of aches and pains and I had been avoiding using my Panaway, but it got so bad. I was like, I can't, the poor guy's going to be trying to get away from me and he can't really move. And so I put on my Panaway and he inched close to me. And it's like Panaway is really good for pain and aches. It's got helichrysum in it. The wintergreen is the plant that aspirin is created from. It's a great pain reliever. And so it was like, I expected him to try to get away from me, but just smelling it, he was like moving towards it, even though he could barely move. So I wouldn't put it on him ever. But the fact that it was on me and he could inch close and he seemed to want it. So I hope it gave him a little pain relief as well as me. Again, let them choose. There will be no doubt in your mind. I think especially with cats, like my cat Misty does not like lavender. It's one of the favorite calming oils for all animals. He doesn't like it. I burned myself one time, so I threw some lavender on the cot, went back to sat down in the living room, and he ran as far away from me as he could get and still be in the same room and sat down and glared at me because he just doesn't like it. They will let you know. You will not doubt that they like that oil or they don't like that oil. And one of the things that you can do, which is great with cats, is just use yourself as a diffuser. Put a drop or two on yourself, or if you've got a roller bottle, roll a little bit on you, and then you're the diffuser. With cats, you want to diffuse them at the rate that I talked about before, like just 1 or 2 drops. Or if you're using another recipe where you're just trying to make the house smell great and your cat's in the house, just cut the amount of oils down that you're putting into the diffuser. And what you do for cats is mostly dilute them the way that you would for kids. And that means if you put a tablespoon of carrier oil in your hand, in the palm of your hand, and then just 1 or 2 drops of your oil, stir it around with your finger, rub your hands together. It might even feel like too much because that's a lot of oil to go on a smaller cat's body. You can just mix it in a little bowl and then dip your fingers in it, rub your hands together, and then just pet them. And some cats like their tails pet. Some cats don't. Yes, Kaylin.
I am wondering about, so I was applying, I think it was lemon oil to one of my cats, and a tablespoon was spilling out of my hand, a huge mess. I was like, oh my God, too much oil. And so I was putting into a little bowl, but then I ended up with this little bowl that had almond oil and a little lemon oil just sitting around, and it felt like kind of wasting oil. So I'm wondering if you have a just practical solution for that. Do you end up putting it into another kind of little bottle, or do you end up throwing it the rest away, or any ideas?
I usually put it in a little bottle because if I'm mixing up something specifically like that, it's usually going to be more than a one-time application.
Yeah.
So like when I'm doing wound care, I'll do it in a little jar and then I pour it into one of my little empty, well cleaned out oil bottles. And then I just have that all set and ready to go, and I can just shake out a few drops at a time and it's already diluted. That's a great
That's
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting the right
Right. And then I thought this was brilliant. This vet that I love uses the kid sense. So like I have like the ones that I use mostly with Misty are like Owie and Sniffle Ease if he gets a cold or a runny nose or he starts sneezing. And then Kid Sense Kid Power. It's another one of those calming. It's like a Valor for kids, but it's already diluted. And what they suggest, and you can see I've put a roller top on it, is you just roll a little bit on the palm of your hand and then rub your hands together and pet them. And it's like no mess, no oils all over the place, no putting it into a bottle for something. So I like that. One of the things about cats is that they pretty much across the board cannot stand the taste of oils. And if you could put one drop in a big bucket of water or one drop in a whole bowl of food, and they're not going to eat it. They've got really sensitive sense of smell like dogs, but they also have a much more sensitive palate than dogs do. Like they don't eat shit. And they will not.
Yeah.
So with cats, it's like you're save yourself a lot of grief if you just do topical application and diffusing and don't try to give it to them in their food. The one exception to that I would make is some cats like Nixia Red. They either really like it or they really hate it. There doesn't seem to be an in-between. So you could put just a little bit into a bowl of water and like Pam said, put it next to their regular water so that if they're thirsty, they can choose if they want the Nixia Red or if they want just plain water. When you're working with wounds, you can use the diluted oil by just, rubbing it in your hand and then putting it on. Something is like using a Q-tip. I've actually used that when Misty got a really deep gash on one of his claws. And so using a Q-tip, once we got it all cleaned out, I was able to get some copaiba in there and get it right in there, and some helichrysum to help it seal up and close up, which it did overnight. It was a deep gash. It was the weekend, and I was looking at it going, that's a 2-stitch cut. But the helichrysum and the copaiba sealed it up overnight. And then we usually use the animal sense ointment right on top, and they will lick it off when they're grooming themselves, and it doesn't matter pretty much wherever it is on a cat's body, they can lick it off. But all of the oils in the animal sense ointment are good for them and will help them heal from the inside as well as having it on the top healing from the outside. I've covered all of this. For cats that use litter boxes, you can use a drop of purification into like a cup of baking soda, let it sit for a couple of hours, shake it up, and then add just a little bit into their litter. And just in general to not use scented litter because you don't know what those oils are.
Yeah.
And then these are sort of across like many, many, many animals, all-time cat favorite calming oils. And these show up for, like I said, most mammals. Yeah, Kim?
Sorry, just because I didn't want to get too far from the screen. So when you were mentioning the baking soda, why, like, I know like when I cooked, or like I'm gonna talk to me about, because it says only use high quality baking soda. Why, I mean, for
Like
talk to me
Bob?
about why wouldn't we just use the orange box for litter?
I used it for years, and then I learned that like baking soda is an actual element, earth element. The baking soda that comes in the orange box is artificially created by taking another element and then charring it and burning it and searing it, and then they take the ash, and chemically it's baking soda, but it's not the naturally occurring element. So I don't
So
use
having it in the
cloth
litter
anymore.
would be bad for for my cats.
Yeah, bad for you too.
Okay.
What is a high quality baking soda?
The one that I like is Bob's. It's like anyone that's the actual natural element and not manufactured. It's like artificially created. It's chemically the same, but it's like chemically
How do you
aspirin.
tell that is there some label that says what kind it is?
I found out by doing research, because it's like technically it's the chemical that it says it is, the element that it says it is. So I just did research on how they made it and how they created it. That was a great catch, Kim. So these oils are different cats like different ones. The one note, like I didn't know this, but valerian like is really calming and soothing for cats, but the ones who go crazy on catnip, it makes them go crazy like they were on catnip.
Oh, wow.
So, and exactly what Pam said, like when your cat is just hanging and sitting with you and purring and having a good time, that's when you pull your oils out to let them see which one they like. And then let them smell it then and put it on lots of times when they're like sitting in your lap and purring and happy. And then when they need it because they're going into a stressful situation, it's the whole scent memory thing that will make a difference for them. And these are just different ways. Like when they're going to the vet, you can put a drop on a towel, drape it over their litter box, diffuse it in the hours before you leave. When you know there's going to be fireworks near you, or you know that your neighbor's going to be doing shooting practice in the next door yard, or there's a thunderstorm coming, you can diffuse that oil before the event even happens. If you've got indoor cats who get separation anxiety, like diffuse it a couple of hours before you leave the house. And if your cats get the zoomies, like at the full moon or just like in the middle of the night, that's another good time to diffuse their favorite calming oil. I generally find, like, even at the full moon when my kitty gets pretty crazy, if I can have him in the house around the peace and calming for about an hour, he settles down and just goes to sleep. And yeah, Kaylin?
I realized another question I have is, so we were talking about digize for dogs. I have cats who seem to repeatedly like to eat, I'm guessing chipmunks, but maybe moles or mice or other things where then I don't know what it is, but suddenly they just aren't eating for a day or two, or maybe a day and a half. But would digize be something that you would try for a cat?
I would use tummy jize for a cat just because it's milder. And I would also, like, if they're not eating for a day or so and they're outside hunting and they're not throwing up, they might have just feasted. But if they're not eating and they're vomiting or they've got diarrhea, then I would use tummy jize just because it's already diluted. It's so easy, get some in the palm of your hand and then rub it on their bellies. It's pretty much the same for cats. More, yeah.
Just wondering if you do the same thing of have them test it first, or if you would just go ahead and apply it because they're feeling yucky.
I would offer it. Like I would, yeah, to test it, yes. And I would start with the tummy jize rather than the digize, just because it's like a really potent smell. And they may choose digize because it might have the oils that they need. I'm just going to mention that I can only see a few faces, so that if somebody has a question, if you just speak up, or if Pam, if you can see. So aches and pains, pretty much everything that Pam mentioned for dogs is true for cats. Copaiba, frankincense, sulfur-cyme powder, Ningxia red. Sulfur-cyme powder.
Can cats do CBD? I actually don't even know. I don't
They
think of
can, they can.
Okay.
So, and I don't have it mentioned here, because you can't really give it to them. Like they're not going to drink it. You're going to have a really hard time getting a small enough capsule that you can put it in to shove it down their throat, and you really have to shove it down their throat. And so you can try petting it on them, but it's not something that you can actually give them. Because they're not going to take it in water or food. And again, you can put it in a capsule, but it's really hard to find the tiny, tiny capsules. You can probably get them from a pharmacy and ask for capsules for cats, to put a few drops in. But it's with cats, again, you want to look at what are the oils that are in it. So the plain CBD is the best, which we used to be able to get easily. Now it's a little bit harder. So there's plain CBD that Young Living has that's out of stock right now. And then I mentioned the sulfur-cyme. Take the powder out of the capsules and don't use the powder that comes in the jar. The powder that comes in the jar has stevia in it. So you want to give your cats the sulfur-cyme that comes out of the capsule because they don't put stevia in that one. Frankincense and copaiba, you can just use neat, put a few drops in your hand and pet them. Aoi, which is like another one of the Kid Sense oils, has a lot of pain relieving oils in there, as well as helichrysum, which helps healing. So, and you can do the same thing with that as with the frankincense and copaiba. Lavender is very healing. I actually tend to leave that out because it's like a no-go in my house, but lavender is another one that you can put on neat that is very healing. It's great for healing injuries. It's not so helpful for aches and pains. Let's see. Eye care, really similar again to dogs and people. Diluted colloidal silver, just to wipe their eyes. I don't recommend trying to spray anything near a cat's face, but like wet a cloth with it or get it on your fingers and then just wipe, like give them a little rub. They generally don't mind if you kind of like rub in here and around here and up over here. They kind of like that. Cats do have allergies and they get cold.
Yes.
So
Yep.
I like snifflies, which is, again, it's a Kid Sense one, so you can just rub your hands together and pet them. And then I like to diffuse Raven and RC, and then eucalyptus blue because it's the mildest form of the eucalyptus to help with sneezes and runny noses and all of that. And then just a few notes, like their bodies are small and they can build up toxic loads really fast. So keeping your home as clean as you can for yourself, for your family, and for your animals. So your cleaners, your laundry, your dishes, what you use in your yard. For fleas, someone had mentioned about fleas. What I like to do is, on the next slide, I've got a list of oils that are really good for fleas. I offer them, see which ones he likes. Then I put them in a quart jar with a little bit of witch hazel to help disperse them, and water. Use a cotton collar because nylon or plastic, you don't know what the oils are going to pull out of those synthetic fibers. And then I just, after letting it soak for an hour or two, I like pull the collar up and just squeeze it out. Then I hang it out to dry. And then when it's dry, I put it on him. And he's taken all his collars off, so he doesn't do that anymore. Put it over him if he needs it. So here are some of the flea repelling oils, and just you can offer whatever ones you have and see which ones they accept. Cancer, pretty much again, the same as with dogs. Frankincense, Ningxia red, sulfurzyme has a lot of the nutrients that are in Ningxia red. It has it's a sulfur related component I can't think of what it is, but it's very healing. And so that can be really helpful for them as well. My final notes is just trust your intuition. And in general, when you're trying to think about what oils to give your cat, think about what you would give yourself or your family members and start offering those oils, because as mammals, we all pretty much, the oils have certain properties that they offer. And then I just threw this little piece in here because it's a new piece of information for me that I've been researching, and that is that only kittens get distemper. Once they're a year old, one of the most well-to-known vet immunologists has been researching and says that once they're a year old, they are fully vaccinated for life. They're fully immune for life. They don't need to continue to receive vaccines, that they make the vaccines on kidney cells, and that it creates a certain amount of kidney antibodies in them, which getting the 1 or 2 doses that they get as kittens is not harmful, but when they keep giving them every single year when they don't need them, can create problems with their kidneys when they're older. So that was just a little extra piece I threw in there to sort of check out on your own and see, how you feel about it. What you do about it. And I guess that's it. If there's more questions. Yeah, I see Kayla.
Question, you were talking about the fleas. Is that the same for ticks as well?
It is pretty much the same for ticks. There's a few oils that don't cross, but almost all of the oils for fleas and ticks cross.
And actually, I
And
was going to chime in that Palo Santo is really well known as an oil that's helpful with ticks.
Great.
helpful to repel them?
Thank you. Yes, Caitlin, to repel them. I believe there's one other. I will do my best to look that one up because I wrote it down somewhere just for when we're in tick country, which you are in all the time. So.
And Marianne, when you say when the cats don't wear the collars, you just rub it on their body. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I like dip my hand in the jar, rub my hands together, and what I found is that there's not a real flea problem in Southwest Colorado. So I've kind of let it go. He doesn't get fleas and he doesn't have a collar, and I've stopped. Coming from the Northeast, I was like, we gotta take care of the fleas. And
Yeah.
my Colorado friends were going, no fleas.
Kaylin, the other one, it's a more rare oil, but it's called Kunzea, Kunzea. I have a good friend who lives in Michigan. She always shares what she uses for her dogs with the ticks. And it's Palo Santo and Kunzea.
And does Young Living have Kunzea?
Yes.
They do. It's actually quite a lovely smell. I had, it's like a mix between lavender and tea tree, but light on both those scents.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
And then we wanted to let everyone know, like, to contact whoever you talk to about getting the link if you want any of the PDFs for horses, dogs, or cats, or if you want one of them or two of them or all three of them.
Which I asked in the chat, and I have a list of people who are interested.
Oh, great. So maybe I can stop sharing and see what's going on.
And Jessica, I think I'm off mute. Okay, I did look up pica. I didn't find pica particularly in this book. I did look a couple different places, but I'm with you. It does make me think of anxiety specific, like oils and calming and like working with it that way more consistently. And Mom, feel free to chime in if you have any other thoughts on the pica.
Yeah, I would take a look at pica in humans because it can be very stress related, but it can also have a nutritional component.
I was wondering about I don't know how
Minerals. Yeah.
minerals work with cats, but I know that I meant to mention that a lot of times with dogs that I've learned is anxiety can point to mineral deficiencies as well as Sarah's not on the call, but I wanted her to hear this. If your dog is eating a lot of junk, like crap out in the forest, like all the time, mineral deficiency it can point to, and you actually can feed dogs mineral essence, which is this tincture supplement that Young Living doesn't make. I've
Mhm.
actually given a little to my dog when he was eating a bunch of junk, and he did stop eating the junk.
Mhm. And you can, like people can take mineral essence in the bath because some people think it tastes really horrendous. I'm one of them. I put it in a smoothie, but you can take it in a bath, which means you could dilute it in some water and pet it on their fur and let it be absorbed through the skin, just like it is in a bath for us, if that turns out to be the case. I can't get out of this sharing.
Okay.
I'm-
Well, I just want to say thanks to everybody for coming and participating and engaging, and that went longer than we're used to for doing our
Yeah.
little Zoom calls. We usually do like 30-minute Zoom calls, so just a lot of cool info about our animals.
Thank you. It was very helpful.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's awesome.
Bye.
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 We could probably stop recording now too.
Yeah. Maybe you can stop me from sharing.
Can you stop the recording that one, or can you not do that?
I cannot find my cursor. I'm operating off of my up and down button.
Okay.
So I can't see the chat.
Hang on, I just about got it. Nope. There.
Okay, there. Thank you.
And now you can stop recording. Yay.
Okay. Let's see. Was there anything we missed?
Oh, can you stop recording first? Or I can.
Oh, okay. Did you get it? No? Okay.
I got it.
So-